All right, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well. So,
yes, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. So I'm Pascal Loria. I'm the founder and CEO of Cogia Intelligence. And as we had today a big day of a lot of miners, I was thinking, what's my connection with them? And I said, you know what? We're a tech company, but we're also mining. We are data miners, and we dig for the new oil. So the oil of the 21st century. That's us. Just to put it in, so in case if you like mining objects, I'm a tech mining object.
Just on that, Pascal, be careful. Our next company is actually an oil producer, so we don't want to make an enemy of them.
No, that's why I made it. Like, you know, you have with me ESG oil. All right, guys, it's a pleasure. It's an honor for me, and I hope definitely that after this show that the market cap will change. You know, so maybe before we start, just a couple words about me, just because I'm the founder and CEO. So just to have a feeling who's behind this. I'm a German Italian, basically born and raised in Germany, have Italian roots. You can see not as German looking. I went straight after high school to Canada. I did my degree in economics with a minor in computer science. And my first computer language was Pascal. So nomen est omen. And after that, I went straight to Taiwan. I learned Chinese and worked for a Taiwanese software company that's been acquired by Corel. Was responsible for Europe. After 2 years doing my servings there, I went back to Europe. I was missing Europe too much. After 2 years, I went and I started to work for Samsung Software Data Systems. I was responsible for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and I built up the business from 0 to 10 million. After Samsung, I went to work for a Silicon Valley company, actually a spin-off from HP. The product was called HP OpenMail. And I built their European business. And from Silicon Valley, I went to Silicon Alley. Silicon Alley is New York, and under the insiders. And I brought Xandros at the time from 40 people and 1 million revenue to 200 people and 50 million in revenues. And that was with a deal with ASUS, principally ASUS, the EEPC. So there was a chance where I had 1 second of geek IT history that I was influencing, because we provided the OS system, and I was part of that concept provider, and I sold it to Jerry Chen, and Jerry Chen made $1 billion in revenue and became, after that, the CEO. I thought that was a worthwhile story to share. So that was the trigger for me to start my own thing, and that's how I started with Cogia Intelligence, because we do big data and AI, and it's my passion and all in one. Because Confucius always said, do what you love, that means it's your last day you're working. So I'm just doing what I love, right? So I do macro and I do tech, and it's all in one. All right, guys, so that's a little bit about it. So here the agenda. I'm going to talk about the company, the market. I'm going to share a bit also about our products and customers, and I'll walk you through the forecast, the peer group, the share, the current situation of the share, and our investment highlights. And hopefully after that, we'll have some good questions from you. Just a bit about the company. Cogia Intelligence, in a word, we use big data and artificial intelligence to analyze the customer experience, and that helps companies to enable them to understand their customers and then have, or optimize their experience in a targeted way. And we have won also several awards. We're actually just fresh, one of the 500 global alumni, not yet alumni, but cohorts in the Japan branch. That is because we're trying to get into the Japanese market, and 500 Global is like an Ivy League for tech companies. And the STEP Award basically is, it's like New York Times, they awarded us as best company in our category for Germany, Austria, Switzerland. We were already popular with big data AI in 2017, when AI was not yet as popular as it was now. So we have around 11 years of AI and big data experience. Some highlight about the press that made my heart go higher when they put TeamViewer, Ifinio, and Cogia in one line. I thought that was pretty impressive, as pearls of Germany, high-tech pearls of Germany. So I just wanted to share that. So we have won other awards. We're finalists in Europe, and we're not just winning awards, we also have good customers to share. But just to give you a little background, that there's some trust factors. Key team members I want to share: Yakov Besrokov, he's our king in big data AI. He was a double major in math and computer science out of an elite university out of Russia at that time. Thomas Reuter is a chief data analyst and computer linguist, and that makes us special. We have the biggest library for German sentiment, positive, negative, in the market. And that makes us a little bit unique, being like algorithm, mathematically driven, plus having computer linguistic in one, and trying to have that synergy. That with that synergy, we can provide better results in the text mining part, which is unstructured data. And that's where we have our most fun and expertise on. So the supervisory board, I want to share with you just one highlight. Andreas Tipaldos, he was my ex-boss at Santros, so I grew his company to 200, and he was my first investor in Cogia. He is a very special person. He's a mentor and a dear friend on the one side, but he did 1996, the biggest IPO in NASDAQ New York, with his company called Computron. He did an 800 million IPO in 1996. That was the biggest one. You know, times have changed. But you know, so that's Andreas Tipaldos. He's out of New York, and he's going to be a bridge as soon as we're going to go into the US market, and we're definitely going to go after the US market, but step by step. Talking about the market, customer experience. Why am I after customer experience? Because customer experience is the new sales. And if you look at Apple, they created a fantastic company. They don't even have a sales team, because all of the customer experience is their sales, because the customer becomes the sales. Customers recommend it to their friends. That's the best part of having, you know, sales done. If you have your customers recommend you and reduce the churn rate. So the focus lies in customer experience. So if you want to be successful, you need to be a company that is customer experience focused. And the market right now, more and more, like, you know, premium market segments like premium brands like BMW, Mercedes are all understanding the importance of customer experience. And the market is growing by almost 17% per year. And in 2027, we're going to have already a market of 14 billion just of that customer experience management market. So it's an attractive market that was growing. So we tried to find a market that had growth in it, and where we could, you know, apply our technology and experience. So then we analyze how can we help and make sure that customers have a sustainable, you know, customer experience and are as successful as we have these light figures like an Apple, like a BMW, like a Mercedes. It is that you got to have a holistic approach, and you got to look at customer experience in a way that you got to look at employee experience, social feedback, and customer experience together. And if you care about that and have like management tools to manage all those three items, then we're talking about customer experience being squared. And now we're talking about customer experience being sustainable, making sure that you will have customers that will be excited about you and will recommend you to your customers. So that is our thinking, the secret to the success if you want to have sustainable success. And with your customers in the customer experience, make it customer experience squared. So we're getting into our products, and you know, our flagship product is our feedback management solution. It is a total workflow. It catches all the different touch points wherever the data comes from, and the key score that we collect is the Net Promoter Score, NPS. If you have not heard about it, you know, just remember that NPS is the most important currency for any CMO. Because what does the Net Promoter Score say? It tells you the probability that you would recommend a company, a product, or a branch office to your network. So that is the probability how good you're performing. And we analyze those comments, we give the sentiment of it, and then put it in a workflow where we even analyze and monitor how long it takes for as a person then to contact you. This gives the tools to the manager to then decide, you know, how to improve their KPIs, the key performance indicators, saying, I want to have a response rate instead of in 8 hours, I want to improve it to 2 hours. And with simple things like that, you're improving the customer experience. And this is the kind of stuff that makes it possible. And our feedback management tool makes it possible that the CEO of like a big corporation, like a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, you name it, they can drill down to the single branch office and see how they're performing, or compare, you know, regions and whatever together. So that's the feedback management suite or tool. It is accompanied with 2 modules. One is the monitoring module, because we want to help you to monitor your success. So that's an add-on module, monitoring. Are you doing, or is that what you're doing successful outside your channels? Are the people understanding and you know, seeing your actions in the way you want to be seen? And this is a good way to control things. And the monitoring tool is also a standalone product that we sell for competitive intelligence, as well as for open source intelligence, for the security. So these are just also niches that we have identified that were not crowded, where we could offer an alternative. Especially in the security space, there was a demand to have a made in German alternative. All right, so next module, which is very unique to us, that our competitors doesn't have in that strength, there's none of them that has that depth, is our engagement capability. So we have our customer experience management tool that, you know, manages the touch point from email, from the call center, you name it, but we can also introduce in your system the feedbacks, the comments from your social media channels in the system, and allow you as well to respond directly to it. Why is this important? Imagine you are looking for a dealer, a car dealer, and you have 3 of them in your city. One has 3 stars, 1 4 and 1 5. I bet you that everybody's willing to go the extra 5 miles to go to the 5-star dealer, right? And that's why it is so critical. You want to check in Google Maps that you have that feedback instantly also in your customer experience tool, and make sure that you monitor those feedbacks and respond to it. So if you happen to have bad luck, you know, bad gradings, you know, you should at least comment about it. And if the comments are making sense, I, at least for myself, would give you a chance if it seems reasonable and save myself the extra 5 miles. If I thought, okay, you know, that made sense, you know, maybe the customer always exaggerated. All right, so this is why this engagement tool, especially now in times of COVID, in times of lockdown, you know, having that integrated in your customer experience sphere is critical, right? Right, that's a little bit the experience. So these are the 3 products in our customer experience, you know, suite, and making it squared. The next point, the next product is our data integration product. I'm very excited about this. This was our latest acquisition. In September, we acquired 51% of Elastic.io. It's an integration platform as a service. Sounds pretty funky, I know. What does it mean? Data integration. It's a bridge. So when you have your data in one silo, in one place, and you want to connect it with another point, that integration part, that's what this software does. So it connects pieces. Now with the digital transformation happening worldwide, triggered by COVID, by the lockdowns, there is such a demand for such a tool, I mean, by itself, which is tremendous. So we want to raise money to you know, pay off or buy the rest of it, so that we own 100%, not just 51. And this is, and why is this so important to Cogia? I'll explain it to you. Number one, of course, it was sexy by itself, but first of all, but why is it amazing for us? Well, it's like a man and a woman by itself, amazing, but you put them together, 1 + 1, suddenly you make 3 or 4, and that's what happens if you do feedback management data with data integration, integrating it with a CRM, integrating it with an ERP, integrating it with your BI. Suddenly you're getting insights, actionable insights that will give you a better, will give you an advantage over somebody that doesn't have that integration. So very simple story. Imagine yourself, I saw Mario there. So imagine Mario, he has a leasing car, let's say with like an Audi A6, okay? So we have A6 and he was not happy. He just provided that feedback. He's not happy. They made him wait 1 hour at the dealership. Even so, he had a fixed appointment. He's a busy man. They make him wait 1 hour, and the car broke down 3 times. In this, like seriously, it's like he's done with Audi. Now, what happens? the salesperson in his CRM does not know about this information without this integration, right? So the salesperson looks at the CRM and says, oh, this person now is Mario. Mario needs to, his leasing contract is expiring next month. So he's calling him and trying to sell it to him. If he doesn't have that, he's going to call and get a bloody rejection. He said, why are you even calling me? So now imagine if, because of the integration, data experience, like the customer experience data, customer service, integrated in the CRM suddenly, now the sales guy could go about it in such a way that I could say, hi, Mario, don't hang up. I know. We know we have not done great, and we will do better. Number one, I want to offer you a VIP card so you don't have to wait. Number two, we can upgrade you an A8 so for the same price as the A6. Would you give us another chance? Now, suddenly you have a chance to reduce the churn rate and be still in the game. Do you see how important that is, putting data together? It is said that companies that are data-driven are the future successful companies that are going to survive. That is part of data-driven management, being able to understand and lead your company data-driven. And those data integration points are key, so that one side, the one hand knows what the other hand does. So that's why we did it and why it's so important to us, and why we would not sell any feedback management tool without our data integration, because we want to make sure our data enriches you and your experience. All right, so let's go and talk about the customers. Who have we won? Lufthansa. Lufthansa is our biggest employee experience customer that we have. They are using our product with a partner worldwide. So 70,000 employees are constantly, giving their feedback. And with our information, we help the C-level, the CEO, to see if there's any issues that he can change in order to reduce a churn rate of high talents, reduce the frustration, and find insights. Anyway, that is the employee experience. Unfortunately, because of the current situation, I was not yet able to sell customer experience management. It was a topic before Corona. Once business picks up properly, I'll do my next attempt to do my cross-selling. So that's since 2018, by the way, they've always renewed. BMW. We are in since 2017. We are with a partner. Of course, we always work with partners because we're the tech house. We need a consultant to execute. So with a partner, we have one BMW. We're the global preferred vendor. There's 3 global preferred vendors. We had a global battle. BMW gave us data that we had to prove in the live systems how good we were in categorizing it, in tagging it, creating sentiment. And based on that, we were one of the best in the world. So they chose 3 players. One is Qualtrics, which is #1 in the world in customer experience management, with a valuation above 20 billion. Then it was Matrix, but they changed just the name, I forgot the name, and little Cogia. And we have made it possible as a small company that we won 30 times. It's like Darmstadt 98, second league football team, winning against a champion leagues team like Barcelona 30 times. That's what we were able to do. That's the reason why I'm here getting capital, because I want to make sure we can rise up to the Champions League, because I think technically we are there. We just got to get the rest going. So that was the story to BMW and our success there. We have 5,000 dealers that are using our technology, and there's a potential right now. They're just using 2 touch points that they paid for. They paid a low 6-digit number value. And that is they pay for email and call center data. They have not paid for social media data. So if they want now social media, I will let them pay for it, because it's if you want to get an engagement tool, it costs a lot of money, and we have an engagement tool that is integrated in its CXM. So for that, we want at least €1,000 per dealer per year, and the potential that we have is 5,000 dealers. So even if we go bottom up and call every single dealer, tell them, look, you're using our software anyways. Do you want to cover that weak spot of yours? I just need to win every 5th dealer, and I have 1,000 dealers, which means €1 million reoccurring revenue with BMW. Just to give you an idea of the potential here. And I think every 5th dealer is not a too unrealistic calculation. Now, Volkswagen, another big highlight. We won against all the big players last year with our partner again. And we won the Volkswagen Group. So we have utility cars, a limousine, and Audi International in 26 countries. We're rolling it out since last year. It's still taking time. I think it's going to take time for the first half of this year. We want it to be already faster, but it's taking time. It's big. It's a big project. We're talking about 12,000 dealers. As soon as they are covered, we're going to have another upsell potential, because again, they're just paid for 2 touch points, which is email and call center data. So the whole social media data, again, would be a potential here to sell. There's 2 ways to go about it, either through the headquarters, every country, they make the decision, or we do a bottom-up and call them. And you know, these are 3-year contracts, by the way. So the next 3 years, those dealers have to use our software. So we have a unique position here to upsell them. And again, even if we say in Volkswagen, we just convince every 6th dealer, every 6th one to say, yes, I want that coverage for social media, that would be still 2,000 dealers per year times 1,000, 2 million euros per year potential. I'm just saying, this is still work, it needs to be done. But what I try to share with you is a bottom-up strategy. It's very clear, it's mathematical, and you just have to come with me. Believe me, if you think 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 is the realistic conversion rate of an existing customer. Just imagine yourself, you're in a shoe store and you bought your beautiful shoes. Do you think I have a chance 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 that I can sell you the matching belt? I think so, but it's up to you to believe me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm selling the matching belt. So just I could get a wrong impression here that we only are able to do cars. It just happens to be that we're in Germany. I love cars, but we do more than cars. We have insurance companies also as a customer and project experience. We work for energy provider. We have tourism. Unfortunately, right now, it's an old project now. They have not continued right now. They're waiting. But we have done tourism. We have done pharmaceutical companies. We've been very broad in our area. Anywhere you have valuable customers and the customers are important is where our technology can bring value. And so it's a horizontal play. So let's go and talk about the forecast. So where are we at? We are kind of micro, small, but with ambitious growth, vision. Last 2021, our planning was to get roughly 1 million. Just wanted to share our, growth. So that was the plan, and we beat the plan by over 20%. Just want to share that we started off with like a half million, less than 500,000. So we beat the plan and we're above the plan at about 20%. And with the EBITDA, we're above the plan 250%. I just thought this is worth noting. So the next estimates are also conservative. The whole point for me is I always try to get numbers that I want to beat, but this is numbers I feel comfortable with. So these are the projections for the next couple of years, at least estimations. The growth strategy, how do we want to go about the growth? And how can I get it even faster done? So we want to, grow by, of course, number one, organic growth, which is getting new customers. And target is to minimize the risk that no customer should be more than 5% in the overall revenue. That's the goal. So we want to reduce the risk on that side. So that means number one, getting customers, new customers, number one. Number two, of course, low-hanging fruit. I got to upsell to BMW and Volkswagen, the social media and other stuff that we have. It's just, it's a low-hanging fruit. I got to do that. However, how can I speed things up? Inorganic growth. And that's what we've done with Elastic. With the inorganic growth, we can go beyond the organic target. So what I provide you is my organic targets. If I do better, the stronger, the bigger, or the more impact in beating my targets is through inorganic growth. And these would be strategic acquisitions, and it's a buy and build strategy that I'm building in parallel to the organic growth. So that's our vision, and that's also why we want to always raise money, is to finance the organic growth and to finance the inorganic growth for strategic acquisitions. The goal would be, you know, 1 acquisition per year, if it's possible, for the next 3 years. All right, where are we at? The peer group. Qualtrics, our #1 competitor. I've been sharing with you, it's my tough competitor. They did also some smart acquisitions now, so they made my life not so easy. So Elastic was a key acquisition for me to keep ahead of Qualtrics, because they don't have the capability to customize and provide connectors for like middle-class companies or SME companies in their needs. So for that, I can quickly have that done because I have the technology in-house. So that's right now my foot ahead. But they have a multiple of the 20 times revenue, by the way. So it's a revenue times multiple, and they are worth, you know, 20 billion plus. Next, oh yeah, right now it's called the 14 billion. Sorry, it's been reduced. They were above 20 a while ago. Palantir also suffered quite a bit. Palantir is my competitor on my OSINT side of things. When I offer OSINT, that's when I meet Palantir with a 17 times revenue multiple. And Snowflake. Snowflake is an AI-focused company like us, but we are getting more and more in the space of Snowflake, because with Elastic, we're going to introduce in the connector our AI capabilities. And that means Elastic with AI, suddenly we're getting into the Snowflake space. So this is a multiple here of 82 times revenue. So just to share a bit the peer group, then we're getting into the the share. So we have 3.5 million shares, and a capital of 3.5 million euro. We just listed at the end of 2020, just before Christmas, and we are in Frankfurt, Berlin, Sitra, Düsseldorf, everywhere in Germany. We have a free float of 41%, and that's the movement of the share. It's going up nicely again. People are starting to recognize us. We were a little bit suffering in Q4 because Q4 was our strong quarter, and I couldn't talk about it yet about our successes till I closed the deals, right? So we kind of had to keep quiet. Next time we'll try to communicate more and try to avoid such a situation. Plus we had an old shareholder that had financial issues that needed to sell a lot, so that got us a little bit in this trouble, but there was no reason from the company side of things. So anyways, we are growing nicely, and I think we are very attractive still from a price point of view. So let's talk about the investment highlights. I think we have a nice low valuation for buyers, because look at our peer groups. They have multiples from 20 to or 17 to 82 times revenue. Cogia, based on the 2021 numbers, has a multiple of only ×6, roughly. We have a proof of concept that we have Fortune 500 customers that, like BMW, Volkswagen, that have reoccurring contracts with us for several years. We have a competent, experienced team. We are a young company in an interesting, exciting market that is growing by itself. So the market itself it's a growth market, and we are, with our technology being an AI company, also on the growth trend. And we have actually over 10 years of big data AI experience, which is not that easy to come by. We just happen to be in the right place in the right time now. So this is a little bit the highlights. And I'm good with time. I speed up a little bit, but now it gives you more time for questions. How about that? So that's it, actually. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the questions.
Perfect, Pascal. That was exactly on time. 30 minutes presentation, 15 minutes Q&A. Thank you for that. It makes my life a lot easier. So I think we're going to start and dive right into the questions that were submitted. I think that Dominic has a very interesting question here. How much in percentage does your biggest customer contributes to your revenue right now? Because you say that your plan is to reduce this contribution to 5%.
Yes. So right now they're not that, I mean, they are big, but not that big. So roughly 15%. So the two, so like 15% is like the biggest customer, roughly. So it's because they're low 6-digit numbers, right? So you can make
so you still have a diversified base of customers. You don't have one client with 70% or so.
No. But I still find that too much because I have two customers together. They make about 30%. So that makes me still nervous. I want to make sure I reduce it. And motivates me to get more and more customers. Right? Plus, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to try to make more revenue with them, so it's going to make it more difficult to reduce them also, right? So, yeah.
So it's a two-sided of a medal here. So basically, obviously, if you get a customer like Lufthansa, if you get someone like Audi, BMW, and so on, well, obviously, size of the contract usually, you know, brings it. So this is obviously very reassuring. The part of the size of the company that you're doing business with, the longevity of those companies, also meaning how they're approached by or targeted, not even approached, it's targeted for hostile takeover from your competitors year after years to come back and nail at it. And you're playing, as you say, on the Ivy League. I think that this is by itself a great success. And I would ask you maybe a little trick question. Do you use your own system internally to assess the sentiments of the companies you're dealing with?
Yes, but to be honest, because we don't have that many customers, like because it's B2B, I could do it also by foot, meaning I could do it, but of course we have the sentiment analysis always going. Also, just on the monitoring side anyways, I'm always checking on ourselves. We monitor ourselves, absolutely. We monitor, but just on the customer experience management side of things, I honestly, it's always size. The number of customers is still manageable.
Obviously, if you get thousands of dealership, then you get data points and so on goes on. But I think it's always a good feel of confidence. Also, when the product is not just good enough for external use, but also for internal use.
No, you have to. Actually, you have. I mean, that's a philosophy. You got to eat your own food. I mean, I love to cook. That's why I always have a problem with my weights. I like to eat, so you always, when you do good food, you always make sure you have to try, right? You have to always eat your own food, and definitely. Also, what I want to highlight, I mean, our strategic alliance now, I mean, that we basically were able to be admitted in the 500 Global Aichi program, which is in Japan. Aichi, I didn't know it before either, so don't mind if you don't know it as well. But Aichi is where the whole automotive industry of Japan is. I mean, and we're talking about a business that makes about 500 billion in revenue in this area. So there we have Toyota, we have Nissan, we have Honda, we have Suzuki, we have Nissan, we have everybody there. And through 500, we're trying to get introductions. Because for us, the Japanese market, I mean, from just a focused target automotive group, after Germany, Japan is my dream, right? So I wanted to get there. Obviously, the sales cycle is longer, but we're going to try. I mean, we're going to go. We're starting to have our website in Japanese. We're going to have videos in Japanese. I'm going to go to Japan for a month also. I mean, we're going to try it. I mean, I can't promise you guys I'm going to win, but I would love to have some Japanese gains to those German brands.
And building on that, Pascal, you're talking about the automotive industry in Japan, but also obviously the one in Germany you're very present in. I think that's in all, the car market is right now transforming, moving from old ages into the new age, and driving becomes less and less an experience about driving, but the car itself, the connectivity, the added function, all of that is really now an experience. And I guess that this is exactly where you come into that market, where car companies now need to acquire more data. It's more competitive. There's some new players, and they want to know what they have. And I think we see it also in how opposing, for example, the view of Tesla of what the inside of a car should look like, as what Audi revealed this year with their EQS and so on. We really see that it's sentiment driven more than ever, that market.
Absolutely. And you know, we have a whole new, I mean, the Chinese market is super, it's also a very important market that is delivering a strong competition, by the way. where we're going to see, feisty competition for us, Europeans and also the US and stuff. So there's going to be some great cars coming out there as well, and with great experience. So we'll see what's coming. And I totally agree with you. The experience, for example, and the requirement for a Chinese driver, by the way, is a lot different from a German driver. So the Chinese, for example, they like that, the Tesla style, having like a tablet style, and we in Europe still prefer like, in the mechanical engineering, feeling like flying like a jet style. Still a little bit, it's changing, of course, with age, but so there's a bit of a change also in the culture, where you have to adapt to the market a little bit. So if you want to cater to that Chinese market, you got to think different than from the European market to be successful.
Absolutely. And on that, I want to bring something else to you that I think is very relevant. And you're speaking about regionality, and you discussed about algorithm being mixed with language. Well, sentiment language in Japanese is not the same kind of the word they use in English language, which is not the same that you're using in French language and so on. So how key into the development and gaining international clients having both algorithms and language together, and now on top adding on that all the data integration is key for those clients.
Yes, I mean, that's what I'm doing since the last 12 years. That's what excites me personally. It's my passion. It's because it's getting discovered and we're getting better and better. Actually, I must say the progress is amazing, but there's a lot of challenge. I mean, Japanese language, also Chinese, there's like the best libraries for that. They're owned in private hands. It's not that easy to get. Like WeChat and Alibaba, for example, have the best natural language processing libraries for Chinese, and I can't get my hands on it. So the stuff that's out there, Stanford, NLP, whatever, it's not good enough. So right now we will need to do, for example, for those markets, special libraries and work with local specialties. And that is, you gotta do that and add that in your algorithm. But you have to have that market sensitivity as well, and consider that for big important languages. That's why we have that linguistic person in our team, right? Like Thomas Reuter, who is a data scientist and linguist, and that makes a difference. And also, like I said, personally, I find it also very exciting, because that's the exciting part about unstructured data. It makes it challenging, so it's not so easy for everybody to come in. So yeah.
Perfect. And we've got a question from Daniel. So he says he's a long-time investor of yours, obviously bought share when the share price was higher, and he would like to know, you touched a bit on that with more news, feedback, transparency, or communication to the market. What are you going to change to more effectively communicate to the market?
I've already changed a bit. I mean, number one, I was happy to for people that don't know, but we have a 200% gain compared to the last 2020 revenue. We grew by 200%. I mean, that's a signal, and we are above my forecast, which is 20%. I mean, that was even consolidated in the last research from GPC research, which I highly recommend if you are interested in Cogia to look at. And here you can see that we're working with research companies. We're getting good feedbacks. We got a buy recommendation there. We have strong numbers. We have engaged with an IR company to make sure that we have more coverage. So we are working on all levels to try to make sure that we have more transparency and sharing more information about our activities. And we're doing this also we're going to do this also more on social media. We're sharing also there more. We're trying to be more, more present there as well. So I think with IR and all these combination of things and being present in like an event like this, hopefully this will get the people, get us the exposure we need, and make people aware that we are a little hidden gem that needs that attention to get us there.
Absolutely. So we have right now about 2.5 minutes. So also just left. So I have 3 questions left. So first, I will have a little comment also for Daniel. Obviously, there's a lot of information that companies cannot publicly talk about. So we always have to keep that in mind. Sometimes there's no news. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. It doesn't mean the company doesn't want to share that information. Absolutely. Now, that being said, very short answer on that. How many employees you have?
Okay, we're actually quite big, but we're big because we're low-cost countries. We're 60 people, but because we have most of them in the lower-cost countries, so trying to keep the cost low. But we have 60 people. But not all employees, contractors that work for us full time.
Absolutely. And then Natasha is asking, do you see yourself in the Greek market, like Palantir did with the COVID data?
In which market? COVID market?
In the Greek market.
Greek. The Greek market, I mean, even so, my mentor is Greek American, Andres de Paulis. I mean, the Greek market is kind of small. Look, if there's a big opportunity that will pay for it, I'll do Greece, no problem. But besides that, it's not strategic right now. I mean, I really concentrate on the key languages like Russian, like Arabic, like Spanish, like Chinese, and anything beyond the European, which we're already covering anyways, right? So
absolutely, quite clear. Two last questions, very fast. What kind of companies are you looking for to acquire strategically? So what would you like to add to the companies you already have and the products you have?
Well, I have a couple, we've done some research actually. We have a list of desired targets that we come up. I think number one, there's three things that we look at. Number one, it has to be profitable. Number two, it has to enrich us or expand us in our technology. So either it is an AI enrichment. So for example, we are strong in text AI. So if you're an AI company strong in voice recognition, that would be useful for us, because then we can take the feedback from the customer service straight from the voice, have it transcribed perfectly, and then we analyze that data. And an extension to our thing, of course, like Elastic was an extension, that was an enrichment. That was perfect as well. So, and the third thing is the culture. It has to fit with us. We have to, the people need to want to be with us. So my master thesis was merger and acquisition in times of economic crisis. So I'm very well aware of the challenges of acquisitions, and you got to be a white knight or a very friendly takeover in order to be successful. Plus, we're looking at the code background. So right now, for example, Elastic had Java background. We are backend on Java. We have the same front end, so that there's synergies also on that level, that the technology-wise synergies. We did an amazing quick integration of Elastic. We're going to have the first successes already in first quarter. We had last quarter already. We saved money. We integrated them. We put together divisions, for example, DevOps, QA, sales, and stuff, and marketing as well. So there was a lot of great overlay and integration work. So if that future works like that, I mean, perfect.
Perfect. I sadly have to stop you there, Pascal. Sure. This is 5:15. We have John from Saturn Oil and Gas already ready on the other side. I'll let you out since with still a little comment. You discussed about earlier about employee sentiment. I think I will. That will be the end comment, is that the great resignation or the big quit that's happening right now in the US, in the world, from job. I think that a product like yours is also very, very relevant in the workforce to be used by companies to retain their employees and be able to monitor, as you do, for example, with Lufthansa, and retain key employees. I think that this is a big, big challenge in the upcoming.
I can tell you guys, on the tech side of things, employees are scarce and getting more and more expensive. If you're looking at a talent, you really have to think smart about it, and you will need to take the extra steps if you want to get talent.
So if you're in the AI business, data, you want to send your CV to Pascal. I think he's ready for some new employees there. Pascal, we thank you very much for this interesting presentation, interesting talks. We encourage people to get in touch with you, as you will be raising money soon, and to get the terms on that and maybe discuss further with you.
Yeah. So feel free to contact us. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you again for coming, Pascal.
Sure. Take care. Bye-bye.